we're over at another job. This one just came in. It's actually an emergency. Customer said that their panel is buzzing and sparking and all their lights are flickering. Let's check it out. Oh yeah. Oh, I fixed it. All right. This panel's definitely seen better days. It is an old ITE, so it's got that against it. On top of that, every breaker in here's a different brand. You got Wadsworth, ITE, Siemens, and GE. Oh yeah. Mm. Look at the whole bus bar. You see that?
Yep.
That's
overheating.
Yeah. That's what I talk about when you have even one damaged section of a bus bar. The whole bus bar becomes compromised because you can see how the whole thing, when it gets red hot like that, the metallurgy changes and the ampacity of the metal is no longer what it was originally rated for. So that's why 110.12b says any damage, pitting, corrosion, or overheating that's done to a bus bar requires replacement. Hear that crunch? Crunchy.
Wow.
Look.
Yeah, I see something over there on the wall.
Still burnt shavings coming out. Get right back in there. Yeah, see, it's all burnt. So we gotta get with the thermal back there. Yeah, there was quite a bit of sparking going on in the back of this panel. It's no wonder the lights were flickering and the bus bar got so hot. Let's set up to get this bad boy ripped out of here.
So you want me to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 half inch, 1 3/4, 5 half inch, 1 3/4, 5 half inch, offset.
So what I'm doing right here is we carefully measured the wall and looked at the specs on the panel we're getting from the supply house to make sure it fits perfect with no drywall repair. That becomes a little frustrating later. We also need to notch the metal stud and kind of bend part of it out of the way so that the standard 14.5 inch wide panel can fit there. Something as routine as removing a lock washer from a male adapter can become a nightmare sometimes. I actually keep snapping off the little teeth on all the lock washers.
Why are they so tight? WD-40.
What's that?
I got WD-40 in the van.
I don't even think that's going to help us. How do they get them so tight?
I don't know.
They're not corroded at all. It's just they will not budge.
Man, they talk them on?
This is where Bernard pushed me out of the way and spent another 20 minutes trying to get the first one off. And he had just about as much luck as I did.
I'm gonna get these things off, though.
It's so much easier. We can just get them off. Look like they're, are they crimped on? Look right there.
Bingo.
Crimped on, I think so.
Whoever installed this panel took a tiny flathead and pinched the threads on every single one of these lock washers.
Stuck. See that? Yeah, crimped on. Yep.
Probably gonna have to cut the top.
Tie to the top and then get EMT connectors.
So much for my dreams of a perfectly fitting panel with no drywall repair. We're cutting it bigger on top and bottom so we can remove the lock washers from the EMT conduit itself and just slide them off the pipe. Time to kill the power, even though we already didn't have AC, because that's one of the circuits that burned up. Trick is you try and push the wire down a little bit,
Okay.
if you can.
What I was talking about there is when you have to cut the EMT conduit on the bottom with the main feeders in it. If you push the wire in a couple inches and cut it, you have a little bit of wire to pull out if you did nick the wire, which we didn't. The most important thing here is just barely go through the conduit. So I was able to cut about 90% of the way around with moving the blade on the multi-tool. But the last 10%, you can use a pair of channel locks or vice grips to twist it off. But if you do this, you have to definitely make sure you ream it with a file. Another big surprise. Look at that.
Look at that. Well, that'll help us get it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at that, Dave. Let's look at that. Every one of the male adapters in this place. Wow.
And now the entire male adapter just fell apart.
We're gonna need another male adapter too.
I just texted.
I guess I was hitting it harder than I thought.
Look at that. Crazy. Never seen that.
Why is it so fragile?
I don't know. That's one way to get a male adapter off. I can just slide it up now though. See? But I would have never even tried to do that because I would never think you
of we
could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about these male adapters in this panel. Definitely interesting and unique, to say the least. If you look right here, you'll see all the male adapters still connected to the panel.
It is so hot up there. I'm gonna show the thermal. 151. Something's too hot up there. 60.
For a second there, I was a little worried that maybe there was a fire in the attic, but I guess it just gets that hot. In just a second, I pop up in the attic just to make sure there's nothing going on up there, and the hottest temperature up there I saw was like 160 something degrees. Boy, am I glad I don't got to work up there today. Although I probably worked in hotter, I just didn't measure the temperature to know that. We were planning on reusing the 1.25" male adapter, but since it broke, we texted Caesar to grab another one while he was at the supply house.
Damn, feel how hot those pipes are. You forgot the 1.25", right? In that adapter? Right? I dropped a 632 and over behind the master over there. It's in the insulation. You should
Nah, I
know.
think it was over there.
It's either over there.
Sure, it's over there in the corner.
Well, maybe. You check that corner too first. Just in case.
For those of you that don't know, a 632 is a tiny little screw that's used to screw in an outlet. But I'm just messing with him anyway. It was not his fault at all.
Caesar can clean the drop cloth.
Shout out to the big box store instead of the supply house because it was only a few minutes away. Mainly because I wanted to get back quick because we can't get started with the actual install of the panel without that male adapter. It's like the first step. So now that I'm back, let's get all these shiny new male adapters on the EMT conduits so we can get the panel in the wall and the power back on. Right here, I'm just adding a new piece of EMT to the cut down 1.25" conduit.
What were you saying about?
We need a 3/4 of a 1 inch.
I did 3/4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This part's usually the trickiest part, getting the new panel in the wall without usually damaging the drywall, but we had to cut it bigger anyway, so it's pretty easy this time. Right here, we're just landing all the wires on the new breakers. Neatness is definitely key here, but one thing I've wanted to talk about for a long time is there's a big difference between wiring a panel in a new build and removing and replacing an old panel in an existing home. A new panel has nice straight new wire. Removing and replacing a panel, the wire is going to be all messed up, and it's harder to make it pretty. Time to energize the new panel.
Not my neatest work, but not too bad either though.
Perfect.
So we're just wrapping it up here. We got that panel in as you saw. Everything came out nice. Customer's real happy. It was a little bit of a surprise. We did not expect to have that, have to do the panel today. It is what it is. I'm glad we were able to help the customer out, and thanks for stopping by. Take care, and I'll see you next time.